So it looks like the box from the 90s is far from being over. I mean, the great Iron Mike said that he wants Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield heads to be at peace with himself. And in boxing, everybody knows it's better not to mess up with Mike Tyson. I'm Ross, this is Boxing Pill. I'm gonna bring you the best boxing news multiple times per week, so if you want to be notified, please consider subscribing. And coming back to the video, Mike Tyson said that he wants to have a rematch with Lennox Lewis, everybody knows the story, and Evander Holyfield, the here guy, okay? And we know Mike Tyson, he retired actually in 2005 after a loss with a no name. He came back in 2019 with the very trendy exhibition matches against Roy Jones. There was a very controversial draw. The draw was very controversial, but there was one thing that was not controversial. 1.6 million of revenue from pay-per-view. That wasn't controversial at all. That tells you that Mike Tyson is a name that even after 20 years in boxing still makes a lot of noise. And I think if we have this fight, a rematch Tyson-Lewis, how great that will be. I mean, or Evander Holyfield, Tyson, they will be even more important than Fury-Joshua right now, the match, absolutely. And I mean, the thing is that this fight, people have been talking about these fights for 20 years, but they are actually getting closer to reality, at least with Evander Holyfield. Okay, Evander Holyfield retired 4 or 5 years ago after a long career in boxing, and he's always saying that he wanted a trilogy with Mike Tyson, especially after how the second match ended. That didn't end in the best way, right? So he actually wants a trilogy. He was training with Klitschko very recently for the trilogy match, and he has been advocating that match. So Holyfield wants it, Tyson wants it. We have two fights that actually, at least verbally, they agreed, okay? With Lewis, things are a bit different. He teases a comeback, but is one of the few fighters that actually once retired in 2003 after the match with Vitaly Klitschko, when he was almost going to lose. He actually said, it's better, okay, I'm undisputed, I retired, and that's okay, I retired on top. And it was a very wise choice that was also hard to maintain, because I think as a boxer, you're always tempted to come back, always tempted to go back into the ring, okay? But he did not do that. So with Lewis, I think I see more difficult. With Evander Holyfield, yes. And there is also another thing that I have to discuss. There are people that say that the match is not gonna be the same as it used to be. They are in their 50s now, so it's gonna be a worthless match. And I couldn't disagree more, because it's not about the match. Of course, it's not gonna be comparable to the match they had in their prime. I'm not saying that. But if you structure the match differently for the age that the fighters have, you can have a very good match, right? Because Tyson versus Roy Jones, I think it was a good match. It was staged so that the rounds lasted 2 minutes. There was more recovery time between rounds to allow the fighters to recover more. So if you change the rhythm, if you change the pace of the fight, you can still allow the fighters to give their best, okay? They just need to recover more. The rhythm is gonna be different. They're in the 50s, of course, but they are not 80, guys. They can still fight, they can still fight well. Look at Bernd Hopkins. He retired when he was 50 pretty much, and he was still very active. So what I say is that I would love to see this fight. It doesn't matter where they are, I will take the ticket, take the plane, and just go there. So let's hope, guys, that this fight are going to happen. Let me know what you think, if this fight are going to happen or not, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you and bye bye.